Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Does anybody here heat their house or turn on their lights?
No.
No, we all sit in the cold
No,
like
it's too expensive. I would, but it's too expensive.
That's right.
That's for me.
And just to let you know that I have a copy of my PG&E bill and usage for 2017, and I paid $0 to PG&E, and I pocketed $6,427 last year. That's my house and my electric car that I drive. So people are spending anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 a year heating and lighting and air conditioning their homes. And finally, there is options to do other things. But the biggest thing to be aware of, PG&E keeps making changes. And has anybody heard of surcharges for time of use? Like with Uber or restaurants, you know, Friday night, so there's key time for dining and all of that. Well, PG&E is going to start doing that. And so if you're not aware of that, you need to make sure you're not coming home at 5 o'clock and starting to cook dinner and take care of the kids and live your life. It's because between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. there will be a surcharge anywhere from 40 to 60 cents per kilowatt.
Wow.
But they did lower the rates for the basic plan, so you only have like 20 to 25 cents for all your other times of use. And our competitors, private industries out in the valley, only charge 12 to 15 cents. Because my son, we bought a new home 8 months ago, and he said, well, let's put solar on there. I said, it's not financially beneficial because it'll take 20 years to recoup your money, because they have a 12-cent rate out in Turlock, California, and that's just their rate, period. So we have the blessings of having PG&E here, and they have a lot more to take care of, but we also pay a lot more.
Does Turlock have its own power?
Has their own
system?
power company, yes.
Like Santa Clara?
Yeah, like Santa Clara.
You
So,
happen to know what Santa Clara's rate is?
I think it's about 14 to 16 cents, which is still very reasonable. So today, I just wanted to bring some of that stuff to your attention, and I like sharing my pride and joy, because, you know, this is my second best besides my grandchildren, and my granddaughter Lola is going to make her grand debut approximately March 27th, unless she comes early.
That's
People-
coming right up.
It's coming right up. Well, my son promised me 2 grandsons, and March 24th they got married, and he hopped right on it. What's really funny is she called and apologized for having a granddaughter. We said, no, we have 7 grandsons. It's not a problem. We just want them healthy. Things to be aware of, just like real estate, just like having the right chairs for your back and all of that, just like keeping yourself in good health, making sure our chairs don't get torn up or the maintenance is a lot cheaper and more efficient. People are unaware of your different options and things you can do. Changing over lighting to LEDs cuts your energy use 75%. So we have a lot of warehouses that change to LEDs, they recoup all their money in less than 2 years. So they're there for another 10 or 20 years, they just made a fortune because the maintenance people won't have to climb up there for fluorescent lightings every 3 years to change the bulbs and every 5 years to change the ballast. You put in LEDs, you're not going to touch it again for 20 to 25 years. Okay? So that 20 to 25 years not only means you don't have to climb up, way up, or these places, you don't have to have staff doing those items. And so all that maintenance cost is reduced. My son is into maintenance out in Turlock, and that's why he moved out in that area. And they bought a whole bunch of LED lighting, but the maintenance staff is so short-handed and putting out fires every day, the LEDs have sat there for a year, not installed. Isn't that funny?
No.
Because their budget doesn't count when they save money, it only counts when they spend to do maintenance. So you have to educate the management and all of that. I also want to open it up to questions as we're going through, so if you have anything. Battery backups, people have heard of that? In the Bay Area, right when you're in the city, you lose power maybe once a year for 2 to 3 hours. Would anybody die in that 2 to 3 hours in this room by not having power for that short period of time? Not usually. even if you have some medical needs, do you plan any particular things for your people you're taking care of if something were to happen for a power failure?
Not usually.
Because it's usually not life-threatening, correct? Yeah. So you could have a local little battery or something like that, or PG&E has special things that certain houses will continue to get power almost no matter what. Isn't that interesting? I never thought, I go like, you're kidding me, you can shut off everybody, but you know 2 or 3 houses are gonna have power?
How do they do that?
I don't know how they do it, but we all pay for it,
Why do they do that? Because of,
to help take care of any emergency medical needs, you know, all of that.
But if the power outage is beyond their control, can they still manage that?
I don't know that answer. I know they try, and that's why they have all these surcharges. If you look on your PG&E bill, there's usually a page on there, like page 3 or 4, that has transmission extra charges, distribution extra charges, electric public purpose programs extra charges, nuclear dismantellation extra charges, DWR bond charges, competition transition charge, energy cost recovery amount charges, taxes and fees. So these are all these extra charges that we get the privilege of paying, and they've now started making sure that even if you're on solar, you're gonna help chip in. They're just gonna do an estimated amount and all of that. And again, as a society, we do have to help one another because we are part of a grid, and we're part of a society. We brought up ourselves to have a $10 grid fee. They only do it for solar right now, but we're trying to have them do it for everybody because in reality, PG&E's job is to take care of the grid. They don't make power. They buy it, add a fee to it, and then sell it to us as a public user. So they should have a grid fee, and that's what they should take care of so that we don't have, where was it that exploded? San Bruno, right near one of my houses. Luckily, my house is just a mile away, so it didn't get hit by it. So I was lucky there. So when you're thinking of people in your own house, if your PG&E is about $150 or more, it's worth considering. Frank, you have solar at your home, don't you?
Yes.
Was it more fun to keep all that money or to pay PG&E?
To keep it for myself.
Okay. And have you had any major problems with your solar system?
No, I don't.
Right. 97% of the time, there's absolutely no issues. But you want to know people in case there ever is an issue to have it taken care of. I take care of LEDs? Yes.
what is the cost of those battery backup things that you have?
Battery backup, somewhere between $5,000 and $15,000, depending how much energy you need to be able to store to get you through a day or two. Like the people up in the mountains, they'll lose power for a week or two. So they want to be able to charge the battery during the day, and it'll keep charging it, and they'll use what they need, and then it'll help them carry through the night. But they can't run a heavy-duty air conditioner. That's to run the refrigerator, some low-voltage lighting, some basic necessities.
I've heard an advertisement on the radio of somebody is selling solar, and they're saying that add a backup power for
$26 a month,
$26
right.
or whatever it is.
You don't know how many years that is, you don't know how big it is. So again, there's a whole bunch of factors. It's kind of like how much support you need in your chair. Do you slouch a lot? Are you short? Are you tall? Do you sit a lot, or do you get up and down all the time? There's a bunch of different issues there. But if you have a question or have acquaintances that have a large bill, they haven't done anything for LEDs, they don't know or want to know about electric cars and charging stations, or they're just tired of supporting PG&E or their local power company, because Southern Cal came up to here. I just went to a convention yesterday, and PG&E and them are like this, because they both surcharge more than anybody else in the country. We are privileged to pay the highest electricity rates of the country, so we should be proud that we're number one. Are there any particular questions people have that are simple and make me look good?
This is simple. Okay. So what is an average cost of a charging unit for an electric car like yours?
The unit itself is somewhere between $450 and $800, depending on the type or brand. And then the electrician's cost to put it in is, depending how far away it is from the main power source, is anywhere from $100 to $500.
Okay, that would be for 240 volt, I assume.
Yeah, for the level 2 J1772 charging system.
450 to 800 plus installation.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
depending on the
Simple,
type of brand.
It was simple.
Thank you.
And it made you look good, you knew the answer.
Thank you too. Appreciate that.
Well, you may have made up the answer, but he didn't.
But I answered it with confidence.
Yes, you did.
Yes, sir.
Frank, another easy one for you that will make you look good. I might have missed what it is that you do.
Okay. What it is I sell solar to homeowners and small businesses. I do conversion of buildings to LEDs because even like your real estate office, usually their electric bill or their billing for PG&E is huge because they have all the power on all the time. So they convert it over to LEDs and then it pays itself back in less than 2 years. Okay? I do charging station installation and all of that, and I give advice on electric cars because I've had 3 different leases and I drive every day my electric car, so I know the real life situations where you get other people telling you stuff and they go, well, I think it'll do this or I think it'll do that, and I'm always going, not in the real world. I had a gentleman in Saratoga that wanted to buy a Fiat. I drove my Fiat up in his driveway. And he was going to go 112 miles from Saratoga to San Francisco and back. You know, was his travel time and distance. And the Fiat guy told him it would make it. And I said, I drive a Fiat and it can't make it. And he said, what else can I do? I said, move your house up to 80, about 40 miles. That way you're within a 70-mile round trip radius and you can make it because you do not want to charge in San Francisco. You don't want to take lunch and charge your car. And that's the only other option you have.
Probably just drive downhill both ways and just coast.
Right. So again, living it gives you a whole different perspective. Like I can go from San Jose all the way to Turlock on one charge in my VW e-Golf. If you have a Tesla, you can go 2 or 3 trips of that. But I always tell everybody the difference between $3,600 for 3 years of driving and $120,000 for 3 years of driving is almost $117,000 ahead. So there's a bunch of different factors in looking at things. People being in the industry know those type of things.
I thought I'd be really good and switched to LED light bulbs in my house. When I bought a 6 or 8 pack of them at Home Depot. Got them home and stuck them in, and before I realized that they were the really bright white.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought I was in the Inquisition in my hallway.
Right.
Now they're in my garage. How do you?
They have softer ones. They have different levels of
Yeah.
LEDs.
I mean, is it a different color or something? Is it just?
Different intensity.
Because I think I only got one that supposedly was comparable to a 40 watt or something, but.
Right, but there's outdoor white light, there's soft light, there's different ones. My wife does not like LEDs at all. So I changed out the whole kitchen with some special soft lighting. She doesn't even know it and hasn't made a fuss, but we turn on the kitchen and those other ones all the time. And so that's where you want to make sure you make your change. Okay? So basically, your only question to your friends and associates at homes are, do you spend more than $150 with PG&E on your PG&E billing? If they do, you should say, I have a friend, unless you love supporting PG&E, that can help you out. For businesses can run anywhere from $800 a month to $15,000 a month. And businesses, if they do not get their bill down, there's going to be a surcharge that's already in effect for many businesses. Like I told you, they're going to be doing from homeowners, that between 2 and 8 p.m., they can get a 50-cent per kilowatt charge, which basically bankrupts them. So they're going to put this in, whether they want to or not, or close down their business and move out of California.
What is, let's say, like in this local area here, how much per kilowatt hour are you paying for normal PG&E? What is the standard?
PG&E starts out at 20 and a half cents, and then they've got it down to 2 tiers now to 25 cents. Used to be up to 39 cents. So they were being really nice before they implement the time of use charge. So they always kind of set themselves up. They're kind of like Philadelphia Eagles. You got to be in the right place at the right time with the right people, and that way you can pull off the Super Bowl. Yes, sir.
When you say the PG&E bill, don't you really mean your electricity bill?
Yeah.
Because gas is not a part of this, right?
Yeah, it's a general guide, because I'm trying not to have you try to do the inquisition for people. So if their bill's $150, I had one person I'm talking to, their bill's $650, and they're very interested. You know, it's just something to get a trigger point, because no one's gonna do business with you, no matter what, if they don't feel some type of pain or some type of need. Okay? An example is, if you never have had an insurance claim in your entire lifetime, and nobody you know has ever had an insurance claim, and you've never heard about an insurance claim, and you've never known about a fire up in Napa, or anything that's ever happened really bad, are you worried about anything? No. So you do need to have some problems that you want to possibly resolve. I have a gentleman that lost his house 2 years ago here in San Jose, and he's just barely finished. He's not in the house yet. It took 2 years. And I say the people up in Napa, I really feel for them, because this was without having 3,900 homes all competing to try to get their place done. So, is there any last questions?
You said you convert fluorescent to LED.
Correct.
So we inherited a bunch of fluorescent lights in the garage that are like hanging from threads, it looks like.
Mhm.
And I just wonder, would it be a really expensive venture to convert those to LED, and how would you do it in a garage?
Well, one, you can just take down the current fixture and put up LEDs. They're fairly inexpensive at Home Depot or other places. You can have an electrician come in and just take them all down and put up the new stuff. Large warehouses have you come in, remove the ballast, and then just rewire it to go to an LED. But in a home, you're probably only looking at four fluorescent lights, and it's not that difficult.
They're all somehow plugged in
Yeah.
to an outlet
Yeah.
with a, like, it looks like an extension cord. It's not hardwired.
I'd be happy to come by and just take a look at it, and at least give you some advice.
So you don't do this yourself, you just.
I don't physically do it myself. How do you think I
No.
keep these nice hands? We have electricians, I have contractors that do all of that, and all the installation and work, and make sure everything's up to code and proper.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Okay, so, you can arrange financing, I assume? or-
Yes, we take care of everything. Your payments on your loan for your solar is less than you're currently paying PG&E. And then typically after a few years, you no longer have any payment. The life of solar is between 25 and 30 years, and you just come out tens of thousands of dollars ahead. My example, which I just told you, real life, and that's why I like to carry it with me, mine's larger than a lot of others, is because I run my car on electricity as well as a household. But if you look on your PG&E bill, typically you'll spend $2,000 to $4,000 a year on it, and you can alleviate that. PG&E doesn't like that though, because they really do take good care of their employees. My brother-in-law was disabled 27 years ago, had a back injury from work, and they paid him 100% of his pay to age 65. And then they forgot to pay him his 100% pay plus his vacation, which he got 100% pay, so I don't know how he didn't get vacation. So the union got him back pay for all his vacations for 27 years. And that was great because his daughter needed to go to college. But they really do take care of their people, but the money has to come from the patrons because it has to come from somewhere.
Is there any maintenance required on the panels, or do you have to at least wash them off once
Yeah,
in a
you
while?
rinse them off once or twice a year. I have a video online of just getting a Windex bottle that you put on your hose. I stand above there, you rinse it off with water, then you rinse it off with the Windex that's made for second story windows, and it kind of takes off a little film. Wait 10 minutes, rinse it, and you're done, you walk away. So it's just to make sure, kind of like your clothing, you just get a little bit of film or a little bit of this and that off of there. So, and it improves your productivity anywhere from 2% to 12%.
Does that work for just washing windows then?
Yeah, you just take it and you shoot it up to what, that's what originally made it, and then I found out about that, I said, hey, that could work on solar.
What kind of guarantee do your solar panels have?
They have a manufacturer's warranty of 25 to 30 years. And they're plug and play now, so that if one panel went out, we'd notice it, you just come in there, they would test it, they're not gonna try to fix it. They're gonna pull the panel out, put another one, plug it right in there, test everything and go, because that's cheaper, quicker, and more cost effective. Okay. I thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to having a one-on-one with you. And just remember, sunny days are money days.